Welcome back. It was 1 week ago today following UConn's 38-28 loss to Holy Cross and a 45-zip loss to Fresno State a week earlier. The head coach, Randy Edsall, announced his decision to retire at the end of the season. By Monday, that timetable had changed, with Edsall leaving his coaching duties immediately while staying on as a consultant at his contracted pay rate instead. Here to give us some insight into what's going on is Channel 3 Sports Director Joe Zone and Mike DeMoro, the Assistant Sports Director and columnist for the Day newspaper. Thank you both for being with us. Mike, I'll get to you in just a minute, but Joe, I want to start with you. Mike's column on September 5th started talking about you and how you had been out in the parking lot and you were interviewing people wearing Fire Edsall shirts.
That's true. I saw Mike after I was down in the parking lot right before the game, mentioned it to him. And, you know, this game back first a couple of years, I wanted to just get a sense of what the fans thought. I'm almost always, the fans are hopeful, optimistic. They're going to win 5 games, go UConn. So I saw this one group that had the shirts on the back, Fire Edsall, and we'll start winning again. Now, anybody can shoot their mouth off. So I asked the guy, what do you know? And, you know, 25 years he's been going to UConn games, back to Memorial Stadium. So he's a guy who's seen a lot. So at least I let him say his mind and speak his mind. And that was pretty obvious that day that there was a lot of people in that group who were not happy with the coaching job.
Well, and certainly in recent years, 23 losses in their last 26 games. I want to turn now to Mike DeMoro. Mike, you wrote in your column, who would be masochistic enough to want this job? Do you think that's a fair question now for UConn fans going forward? Who the heck are they going to hire?
Yeah, I don't know, Eric. I can't imagine why you would want to come to a place where, you know, you have no conference to be in. Your stadium's 20 miles away from school. Nobody ever goes. You have no recruiting base. Your future schedules either have games that you can't win, Ohio State, Michigan, you know, we're going to see Clemson later this year, or games that nobody really wants to see. Middle Tennessee, Wyoming, Utah State. I can't imagine, Eric and Joe, why anybody would want to come here.
Well, you say, Mike, games that you can't win. I mean, this past week, Holy Cross, a weekend a couple days ago, that was a game they were supposed to win handily. So where does that leave the fans?
Well, that was one that, you know, people ask, how many can they win? Well, that was one that was a W. That was a game they were supposed to win. It's a lower subdivision. So I just hope, as Mike was saying, I hope that the top 5 candidates on Dave Benedict's list for coaching candidates aren't watching the show this morning, because Mike just told all of them why they should not consider the job, and everything he says is legitimate. You know, the job it's a hard job. You're getting the 5th and 6th best players at every position around the country after everybody else gets their guys, gets the top guys. So you got to get the best players in Connecticut, which UConn rarely gets. Dan Orlovsky was one a while ago. Tim Boyle was one a while ago. Tim Boyle left. So if you're not even getting your best players in your own state, and let's face it, Connecticut, small state, only has 6 or 7 a season Division I recruits. So we're not getting those kids. You got to coach up. You got to coach everybody up. And that, I think, in today's environment, is getting harder and harder to do.
Mike, I want to ask you, I remember, you know, I was for many years a UConn football season ticket holder before geography and being a father took my time away from me. But I remember listening to Coach Edsall on with Mike Francesa on The Fan. This was right before the Fiesta Bowl. He was on for probably half hour, 45 minutes, and he was talking about Jasper Howard and building a team and finally going to a big-time bowl game. And I remember thinking, gosh, this guy has made something out of UConn football. And then, of course, he leaves. You wrote in a column that you felt UConn let him down as much as people have said he let them down. Where did that Randy Edsall from that interview go?
Well, Eric, you know, Randy came to us actually in about 2008, somewhere in that range, and he said, "Hey, the guys that we used to get in here, we don't get it anymore, and worse, they're going to Louisville and West Virginia, which was UConn's those are the 2 teams that they had to beat in the league at that time." And he always thought that because the program graduated its players in rates that earned them national acclaim, that he should have gotten the benefit of the doubt from admissions when it came to the marginal player. He said, "That's how we won before. That's how we're going to have to keep winning." And he couldn't get the athletic director at the time, Jeff Hathaway, to go with him to talk to the admissions people, and that's really why he left. And once he left, we know what's happened since.
Yeah, it's been a big fall since, that's for sure. Joe, I want to ask you, who are possible candidates? I mean, is it going to be anyone that we've ever heard of? Is it going to be a washed-up coach looking for one last run and a bunch of money? Is it going to be some assistant who's not really doesn't have the pedigree yet, but maybe he can take this job?
Those are all possibilities. I don't know how Mike feels about this, but the most famous name that has come up in the last few days is Dan Orlovsky himself, the famous Connecticut kid, has a big-time gig now at ESPN. Former quarterback, though, really smart guy. He said what the qualities need to be for a coach who takes this job. You have to be all in. You've got to be invested. You got to be passionate about it. You got to be from this area almost. You got to be able to go out and recruit kids who you can coach up and make better, and you got to really, really work them hard. So that's the kind of guy. Orlovsky joked about taking the job and going up to BC right away and running around with those guys. I don't think he's a candidate. You're going to have to get an assistant. We tried that with Bob Diaco. That didn't work. A high-profile assistant. This guy they've got in there now, he's got a lot of pedigree in the NFL, a lot of coaching experience, 30 years, but no head coaching experience. And that's a big deal. That's a hard thing for an assistant coach to do.
Mike, we got about 30 seconds left. Say something to make UConn football fans feel better.
Basketball season is almost here.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, can Gino coach football, right?
Yeah, there you go. So what do you think? Will it be a hire before the end of the season, Mike, or are we going to be waiting?
I would like to think they're going to take their time with this. I think they got to.
Is there a chance that this could be the end for UConn football, or the beginning of the end?
I don't know how you feel, Joe, but I think the Schenkman Center is too nice. And I don't know what they would ever do with it. So I think they're gonna keep this for a while.
They're gonna go in the long haul and try to get some wins out of it and make some slow progress. That's what I think.
All right, Mike DeMuro from the New London Day, Joe Zone, our sports director. Thank you both for being with us here on CT21. That is CT21 for this week. CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley is next. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll meet you back here in Studio A next Sunday morning.
Thanks for watching Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Watch us live wherever you are on our mobile, on our streaming news app. And you can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.